Why Sweden is proud to have the world's highest taxes? First of all, that's a straight up lie. I don't know anyone that thinks that way in Sweden, but like, let's see what they have to say.
I love to pay my taxes.
Yeah, I like paying taxes.
You know what? No. Just no. Who in the world likes to pay taxes? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Who in the world is like, yes, take half of my salary for subpar things in return? Yes, love it. Yeah, we have a very high standard of living, I see here. I don't want to be too negative, like, because we do get like healthcare, we do get free schooling, we do get a lot of social benefits and welfare and all the stuff that you've probably seen in media. But I feel like most Swedes would be more happy about paying the high amounts of taxes if, you know, the things that we get in return for like almost having to give away half of our salary was actually good. Like, now I'm not saying like it's bad, but it's like you could ask for more. Like, I'm not gonna get into it now, maybe they will get into it. Let's just continue the video. And I assume they're talking to people living in Stockholm.
Sweden is sort of infamous for having the highest taxes in the world, but the truth is a little bit more complex than that. Sweden
Yeah,
has a progressive
100%.
tax system, meaning that people with a higher income pay a higher percentage of taxes and people with a lower income a quite large proportion of tax money.
Is that like the same like other countries, like higher people, no, high earners pay higher tax and then low earners pay lower tax? I feel like that's a concept that's like adopted like in more countries, unless I heard it wrong.
Money goes into education, healthcare for children, parental leave, and parental support.
Yeah, so see what they did. Yes, it does go into all those sectors, but the quality of those isn't that really good. Like, I'm just gonna take one example. Right now, the healthcare, unless it's really life-threatening, then you will be able to like get like free healthcare pretty quickly. But let's say you like dislocated your shoulder. Good luck trying to get any appointment within 2 weeks. Good luck with that. You'll be stuck at home suffering with the dislocated shoulder, and it sucks. Yeah, of course, it's good.
So you get a lot of things, healthcare, libraries, roads, whatnot.
And I don't even think about how much taxes I pay because I think the system works very well.
No, I'm not gonna say like our tax system is like bad. We all honestly get like a lot of good things, and I've generally benefited from it as well. Especially like the social welfare and like the free healthcare and schooling, which I probably wouldn't afford otherwise. But like I feel like it's not wrong to like demand it to be a little bit better.
My name's Ida Norberg and I'm a sociologist who's did my PhD in Scotland and now moved back to my home country, Sweden. Swedes generally, if you look at the research, are really supportive of the idea of paying higher taxes in order to have a well-funded welfare state. Well, the underlying philosophy of the welfare state in Sweden was really funded on this idea that it was not this kind of welfare state of a last resort, rather a well-funded resource that was going to be used by everyone in the population.
Okay, so yes, most Swedes, like if you go around and ask them, they will be like generally tolerable. They will like understand and they have like accepted like, oh yeah, we pay this much tax because A, B, C, and D. But I don't know if tolerance and like understanding like, yeah, it makes sense equates to, yeah, I'm happy to pay this.
So my name is Per Klingveld. I'm 32 years old, father of two, married, and my day job is business lead at a tech agency. Yeah, so what do I get for my taxes? Well, I have several university degrees, 5 years of education, 6, and that was...
Yeah, so it's like because they say, like I said, even universities in Sweden are free. You can get a university degree in Sweden for free. But yeah, I don't want to get into like the whole education system because it's quite like unique.
For free, no tuition fee. And then we've been on parental leave, both my wife and I, about 1.5 years each in total.
Yeah, that is true.
We have our kids at daycare full time. That costs us about $180 per month.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about getting sick. We don't have to worry about insurances. Our kids are much calmer with the system because they see that we as a parents are calm, that we have this safety net behind us if anything happens to us.
Of course, I have friends who are not as big of a fan of paying taxes, but I wouldn't say that it's at all as I've seen when I lived in Boston during my time in the US and in Paris to part as well. People don't have as expressive ideas on if taxes are good or bad as in other cultures that I've experienced firsthand.
Yeah, so America is a very like extreme example because America is a very famous and notorious for like, wow, we should adopt the Swedish system, and like, oh my god, why is it so expensive? And then they look at Sweden and like, oh my god, we should adopt that system, without realizing that, oh my god, that system is not perfect. It has a lot of flaws as well. So
there has been some tax cuts and things like that in Sweden in the last couple of decades that has had an impact, but those kind of debates don't really get framed as like a challenge to the existing welfare state, but more like tweaking the details.
yeah, precisely.
I think Sweden has been quite successful in building up a welfare state and using the tax money, but I think the downside of this is we already have this recipe for success, and we're trying to use it with new challenges coming up with globalization, climate change, etc. One group that is probably going to be quite affected by the future challenges are migrants who are not yet or will never be within the Swedish system. In order to qualify for the services of the welfare state, you need a personal identification number, and this is getting increasingly difficult to obtain. And I think there's quite a lot of debate how much these people are entitled to and whether they should be seen as one of us or one of them. And there's quite a lot of political discussion on this at the moment.
Everything from digitalization to migration to urbanization, these kind of huge trends that makes it a lot harder to plan for the decades ahead. But in general, there's a high level of trust in the Swedish society. So we trust that the public sector will do good things long term with our money.
Well, yes, most Swedes are very trusting of the government. They are very, like, how should I say, they don't really have much problem with the way the country is like being run. I feel like most people don't really know what's going on in Sweden outside from like the whole glamorization that is like utopia on earth, which is like Sweden is a pretty damn good country to live in. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and like I can understand why most Swedes don't move abroad. The point I'm trying to get across is Sweden right now is going through a lot of shit.